yes. It is time. Make sure that, yep, correct microphone being used. Good, good. Definitely showing nonsense on this screen right now. Let me get rid of that. Let's go ahead and announce the stream. Lest nobody remember, well, nobody ever watches these, but, you know, if anybody comes around and watches this later, lest you don't remember, I am trying to make a way of testing Weasound, which is my audio interface for the web, sort of generifying and grouping together all the various ways of getting audio on the web and playing it back into one interface. I'm trying to make a sample demo for it so that I can figure out what nowadays is currently the best on Chrome, because it has changed over time, and I'm betting it's changed again. And I was like right in the middle of making our header here. I'm a Debian user. Did you know that? Thank you, Debian logo in the background. I can't be bothered to change. Ah, yes, that's right. I was using a WAV file that I had just made as a demo because I wanted it to be a float32 file because that would be easier to work with. Did I stick that in temp? Probably. Where did I stick that? There. That'll do. Definitely not. Don't I have like a demo file somewhere? That'll do. F32 LE. Okay, so we've got the fact part. Right. The format part. Okay. Now, I am uncertain whether I actually need the next segment. Where is this? This ends here. Okay. So, then I have nonsense. What is this nonsense? Determined by subformat, which is here. This is 16 bytes, which I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, yeah, bytes, 4, 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay. I did not finish that. Let me make this clear. Yep, that looks about right. Okay, that should be the actual subformat. Now, do I need a fact chunk? Yes. um, right, so even though it is PCM, because it is of an extensible format, it still needs the fact chunk. That's extremely annoying. Luckily, it looks like the fact chunk is quite short here, because it's just this. Yeah, the list is separate, so I can just duplicate this. And this, yes, that's the list chunk, which I definitely don't need. And the rest is the data. Right, this of course has a data length on it, but that is not strictly needed. This data, what? Chunk size. Right, that's the chunk of the size of the entire data chunk. I was just slightly surprised because this is exactly divisible by 65,536, but I guess maybe it's exactly divisible by 65,536. I suspect that in order to make this unspecified, you write it as -1 rather than writing it as 0, and then the rest is the actual data. So we don't need a resampler anymore. I guess I could use a stop button. I don't need a playback method. Oops, what am I still doing in this directory? There we go. I assume that a capture has some way of stopping the capture when I'm done. Close. Close. Everything dot close. I can do that. In theory, this might do something. In practice, I'm sure I screwed something up. So let us see what results we might get, if any. That's step one. This is now going to be just libavjs types. What is this so unhappy with? What's happening here? Oh, it's not agreeing with my override. That's no good. I have changed that since the ancient version that this had, so it's possible that I just have actually made a mistake here. The format context should definitely be correct. The packet should definitely be correct. Dev file is a string. I shouldn't really be using read file multi at all anymore. I see. Right, because I've removed the dev file support entirely, yeah. That, in fact, read file multi is deprecated. I should just go read frame multi. So let's switch this to read frame multi. That no longer requires that. There's no dev limit. And unify is still a thing. It defaults to unify false. I don't know why I asked for it, but whatever, that's fine. There we go. That was not as catastrophic as it might have looked like it is. Okay. This will not work in Firefox because it uses a Chrome-specific way of saving files, so I didn't have to do a bunch of extra crap. Sure. Well, that didn't work. Go is not defined. Unexpected number. That is an unexpected number. There we go. Picky, picky. Must be handling a user gesture, and I was, but it happened to like these would have to have happened simultaneously. So here's what I'm gonna do. Theoretically, that should do the right thing. Testing, testing. Kind of hard to know whether it's doing anything, isn't it? I guess I could just go into downloads and check whether it's doing anything. It sure doesn't look like it's doing anything. Then again, I don't really know if it only finishes writing when it's finished, if it flushes, if it... Oh, okay, well... Wow, there was 3.6 megs of data and it didn't flush it. I better just open this in Audacity. At least something happened. Neat. I don't actually know what device it was reading from there, so it's possible that that's just correct. Let's Gonna do this again. Let me see if, and this won't be visible to you, but if I look over in my mixer, it says it's, oh yeah, why did you choose that device? Why is my default changing wrongly? There we go. There we go. Now it's actually recording something. Okay, it was recording from a silent device. That's definitely unhelpful. I don't know if you can hear this. I think you can't, but suffice it to say it's catastrophically bad. If I do this, you'll be able to hear it. There we go. Now it's actually recording something. Okay, it was recording from a silent device. Okay, so there we go. At the very least, now it's actually, the default is at least kind of working. I'm going to go ahead and change something out here. What I want is to get the capture method and actually put that in the name. Yeah, I guess that's about all there is to it, isn't it? Okay, so oh yeah, of course default would have no name. Yeah, fine. Oh, but I also don't care about default. Default's the default. And theoretically, I should be able to get, like, all of these going at the same time. Oh, it's already getting angry with me. I can feel it slowing down. It does not like doing this. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Mr. Opus. And I believe I would be correct in saying that all of these are going to look, yeah, well, other than the old one, these are all going to look empty for the time being, which is very annoying, because that means I do have to actually explicitly stop when I'm done. I guess it's possible that it's, nope. Oh, yep, okay. Yeah, it's just saving to a temp file. Okay, glad I checked. Yeah, okay. Anyway. Now let's see if any of them just, like, immediately clearly aren't working at all. I kind of can't believe I got a WAV file that Audacity was willing to read so easily. So I think I saw at least one of them that was not working whatsoever. But well, other than the old one, these are all... Unsurprisingly, script processor seems to be working, albeit that was very quiet. All of these are going to look... Yeah, well, other than the old one, these are all going to look... Yep, okay. Getting angry with me. Yep, there we go. Getting angry with me. Media stream track processor. This is the default right now. Media recorder. That really should work. So should media recorder Opus. Audio worklet processor works, but why are you doing this to me? Tends to be scratchy and terrible if you use it too long. And I believe I would be correct in saying that all of these are going to look... I don't hear any scratchiness just immediately, but, you know, it's also weird low-quality input. Interesting that Mr. Opus didn't seem to do anything. I wonder if this is... like a real problem and these input modes are broken, or if this is some kind of Chrome exclusivity thing. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these for now. And let's do media recorder PCM. That does not appear to be doing anything. I believe that is what I would qualify as bad, but I might be doing something wrong. I think that you might have to, like, there might be a start that you're supposed to call, but it automatically starts in many things, so I forgot to call it. No, there's no generic start. Well, looks like I'm figuring out what's wrong with this. Yeah, you have to call init, but I'm fairly certain that when you... Yeah, it's this that initializes it. So in theory, unless it has something to do with the audio context? No, why would it... Yeah, because this doesn't even touch the audio context, does it? I guess one thing I didn't think about doing is checking whether there are any errors in the console. No. I guess it's possible that the way I did this pass-through was specific to the older version of libav. Do I have an on read? I don't. Well, that explains that. I bumped the libav version and broke that, so looks like we're modernizing this with respect to libav. Gonna go ahead and open up my own documentation that I wrote but don't remember. So the way this used to work, you would call this with a device limit, and then it would give you E again. That should no longer be a thing. Instead, I need to have a on read. Okay, so the way this needs to work, yes, the way this needs to work is libav.onRead equals file name, position, length equals file name, I don't care, it's always going to be in.mkv. I actually don't care about any of this. In fact, I don't even need that if I don't care about any of it. So I was going to say, how do I know when it's EOF? But if it's working correctly, it's never EOF is the answer, because this just reads forever. Yeah, I have no mechanism. Like, I stop it independently. I stop it in a different way. Okay, so this is no longer necessary at all. And the E again case is no longer a thing. If I get EOF, that's a catastrophic error, so I don't know if this should be break, but it appears to be break for the time being. Neat. I did forget to make that function async, thank you. Hard refresh. Testing, testing, testing. No! This is a catastrophe! Yep. This is definitely empty. 0 samples. Yeah. Well, glad I have something to fix, because I was afraid when I was recording things that this was all just going to work out and I wouldn't have anywhere near an hour worth of stuff to do. Now I'm going to spend an hour figuring out why this is broken. Huh. Randomly changing my face for no particular reason. Everything looks correct. Really? Oh, I see, of course. Because it's an arrow. Okay. I don't actually care what the arguments are. I was just vaguely curious if that was going to reveal anything, but it's certainly not going to reveal anything if I can't use it. Huh. So it's getting data, but it's still not working? I think I might know what's going on. I think I misremembered how something works here. Before I rebuild that, let me see if I actually got as far as demuxer initialized. I assume I did. Yes, okay. So it is receiving data, which probably means that it's something in the filtering chain that I'm not doing right. And I think all it is that it actually does send E again. Yeah. It sends E again, basically, if it's not at EOF. But then again, why would that... Because that would break this loop. So then it would never read again, wouldn't it? Well, let me just try and see what happens. No. What, I ask, is going on? Okay, well, let's start logging what's going on and try to figure out what's going on. Huh. Perdón? I'm an imbecile. It reads as much as it can if you don't ask it to limit to something else. It's reading in the entire file in RAM. Cool, great. I don't remember how my own code works, but at least I did remember eventually. There we go. That must be working. That looks incredibly like it is working. Ooh. Let me actually open this in the null sync so you can hear it. Did remember event. At least I did remember eventually. There we go. That must be working. That must be working. Now, was that actually... I like, thought I heard something wrong, but maybe it's just how my voice was. Let me really amplify the hell out of this. Allow clipping, you dumbass. There we go. Nope, that's just how I was talking. If I use the vocal fry, it concerns me gravely. Okay, so let's try out our last mode. Mr. Opus. Obviously, I'll get rid of that debugging. I keep forgetting to make this so you can hear it. Mr. Opus. Mr. Opus. Yep. So I'll get rid of that. So everything at least kind of works on Chrome. Let's go ahead and get this committed. I never used DL Stream. I was planning on using it, but I got lazy. And then make sure that this is in a releasable state. Did I not have a license header on these? That's not like me. That's very not like me. Did I stick something in the... Did I stick something somewhere? Did I in any way explain the licensing of the demos? Absolutely not. Cool, great, perfect. Oop. Well, that's a surprise. Get remote set URL origin, get did not realize I had checked that out by HTTPS in the first place. That's weird. Now that's ready to run. I had no other plans. I was thinking that it would take me longer to get this into a testable state, but the rest of it is just testing. I need to run it for like hours on some system and compare the outputs and see which one is least terrible. And this is not the system to do that on, because this is barely even a real system. This is a virtual machine. Let's make sure I've got the latest anyway. I believe that the current state of the beta branch on WeCaster is like user interface improvements. And those interface improvements were mostly not here. Am I correct about what I was doing here? Okay, that was wrong beta branch. Yes, it was beta UX, okay. I have bad naming convention. Okay, let's see what this is looking like. Yeah. Effects recording, effects live voice but not recording, and then you can turn on advanced settings to get even more. Should this be elsewhere than there? Should it be right at the top? I think the legend should be at the top. Just looking at it fresh, having not seen it in a while, the legend should definitely be at the top. Wow, did I actually not call it legend? Oops, that's not the legend. This is the legend. So like here. Let's see how that looks. Why did I open that? I don't need that. Really fussing over little tiny details here, but my inclination is to try to essentially get this aligned right. What I want I think you have to put something in it for it to flex at all. What I want might be this. Let me look at how this looks. I don't think I'm going to like this because of the words affects live voice chat but not recording. That's so long that it's going to take up the entire width anyway. it might also squish it. I don't always understand how flex works. Yeah. I believe that worked as it ought to. Yeah, it flexed this out, but flexing that out didn't really do anything. Well, I mean, it did right. Yeah, it did right align it. It just worked as I expected. So here's what I'm going to do. It's truly hideous. Huh. I understand why that happened. Can I make it not? Yes, like that. I both hate this and like it a lot. I don't like the giant empty space here, but it makes it sort of obvious what this is saying. I kind of want to make these not just gray. Do I? Gamepad push to talk should say that that affects recording, because it does. Wow. I sure love push D, don't I? Oh, right, that's not needed. It always affects recording. I don't know. Is it better? Is it worse? I think just hiding this crap under advanced settings is definitely better. Like, this is just a briefer and less ridiculous user interface. I thought that I had the noise gate. Yeah, I must have broken that at some point. Oh, there's something else to fix. I thought I had the noise gate show. Wait, was it there? I could have sworn no, okay. It's just I scrolled off it or something. It showed the volume as like a bar that moved up and down while you were talking. But somehow I botched that. Neat. I almost certainly botched that while I was doing the update to make this all threaded. So like if I go like this, then this should never kick in. I would have to be unbelievably loud. I would have to clip the microphone for that to actually voice gate in. Zoink. This is not quite the same as the noise gate in like Discord. in that it always has a voice activity detector, even if you have the noise gate, you know, like this, that should always have it open, essentially. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with this legend. Maybe I should put the word legend there. Maybe I should put it in a box. Maybe that would make it obvious that it's a legend. Would putting it in a box make it obvious that it's a legend? I honestly have no idea. Just foreground, I guess. Ugh, 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 ugh. Many problems with that. Did I seriously call it dimish? Let's go with proper dim. Okay. I'm so afraid of people thinking that that's like an interactable of some kind, and I don't know how to make it abundantly clear that that's just a legend of how to read what the symbols mean, short of using the word legend. And to be perfectly frank, I'm not convinced that 100% of people are familiar with the word legend in that context, and so would know that it's a legend. Why did I keep opening that? Did not mean to do that. How did I... Oh, right, because I never actually fixed that. I truly don't know how I feel about this. I mean, obviously that needs fixing. That needs to go there, but... Maybe if I make them a color, maybe that'll make it more obvious. I'm just really unconvinced one way or another. I like, honestly, putting this under advanced settings is the number one most important thing I've done by some considerable margin. I'm going to call that good for the moment. By the way, part of the user interface being a bit threatening here, a bit over whatever, is that this is the host interface, which has a lot more options on it. The This is host specific. This is host specific. This is host specific. Uh, guest, 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 guest. Yeah, so the first three things here aren't normally there. And I don't think I might, yeah, I think I probably do put help on the guest too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to try and fix this. This should be blibbling up and down, and it's not. So that's probably supposed to happen within the waveform stuff somewhere. Okay, that's user admin. Yeah. Add noise gate. Inproc.vad noise gate. Fine, so that's just when it gets set. I guess it might be something that was handled directly in CSS or something. Um, The fact that there is no CSS dot anything strongly suggests that I botched it. Yeah. So I'm going to have to go to an older version to figure out what that was supposed to be. Let me make the changes I've got now. There's the very place where it was supposed to happen. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let me just copy this. why did I view instead of Vim? Obviously, this commented out part I won't keep. Okay, so what was the context of this? This was when it was displaying the wave data. Okay, so how does that work in the current version? Do I still have a function called display? I do not. Waveform display. Neat. Spelling is for losers. Yeah, that's right. The way it worked before, it pushed it, and then push always called display, so there was no reason for it to have both. Oh, of course. It happens in the worker now. Okay. Oh, it happens in the worker now. That's the problem. So I create the CSS here, but there's nothing to ever set the CSS. And I'll bet that in the worker I've even got the dead code there, and it just doesn't work. I post a message and I just am not using it. That being said, is post message how this is supposed to work? I thought I had a reverse, like I had a standard callback mechanism. I guess I just stuck it in post message as like a temporary and never got around to fixing it. Yes. Only the full waveform worker has it. Okay. Two particular things to check out here. Is this sufficiently conditionalized at all? Because I only want this for the main speaker. Right, I'm just sending it for every ID. Okay, well, we know what we're fixing next time, but I'm not fixing that right now. I've fixed enough for today. I will do some Weasound testing in time. In time.